Right. So you know how it is? Sometimes you want to like really understand something complicated,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't want to feel like you've just like wrestled with a bear or something.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing today, right? We're going deep on this whole digital twin thing,
Yeah.
which might sound kind of sci-fi, right?
Definitely has that kind of ring to it. Yeah.
But but as we're going to find out today, it's actually rapidly changing the game in healthcare.
Uh-huh.
So we've got this really fascinating article here today.
Okay.
It breaks down how these virtual copies of the human body
Oh.
are moving from theory into like real world stuff,
Mm.
tackling some of the biggest medical challenges.
Yeah, some tough nuts to crack for sure.
So our mission today in this deep dive is simple.
All right.
We want to pull out like the most important insights about digital twins in healthcare
Yeah.
and figure out what kind of impact they could have on us, everyday people.
Absolutely, because when you hear digital twin, you think Star Trek, But it's so much closer to reality than you'd think.
Yeah.
And it's honestly holding some crazy promise, especially in areas where like traditional medicine has just struggled
Right.
to make any headway.
Okay, so let's just jump right in.
Okay.
The article starts with a really big challenge,
Mm-hmm.
glioblastoma.
Right? Yeah.
And just to give you a sense of the problem, here's some statistics.
Okay.
The median survival rate for this type of brain cancer hasn't really improved in over 50 years.
Wow.
It's still only around 15 to 18 months.
Yeah, that's a heavy burden for sure.
It is a long road.
And it's really fascinating to dive into why that is.
Yeah.
Why haven't we seen more progress? And the article does a great job of getting into that.
Mm-hmm.
Glioblastoma tumors are so diverse.
Yeah.
It's not even just from one patient to another,
Mm-hmm.
but even within a single tumor, you see this huge variety of cells.
Oh, wow.
So that makes it incredibly difficult to, develop a treatment that works for everybody.
Yeah.
Historically, it's been pretty much surgery, radiation, and chemo.
Right.
And doctors are often just making decisions based on what the article calls high-stakes guesswork.
High-stakes guesswork, man. That's
It is, right?
a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
Imagine facing those odds, knowing that the treatment plan is basically a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
That's where the idea of a digital twin comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And the article lays this out really well.
It does.
So how do you actually create like a virtual copy of a person,
Right.
especially something as complex as a brain tumor?
So this is where AI and mathematical modeling come in.
Okay.
They've really advanced a lot in the last decade.
Right.
And the article explains how it works.
Yeah.
So first you gather a ton of data about the patient.
Like what kind of data?
So their genetic info, their medical history, blood tests, and the really important part,
Mm-hmm.
the detailed scans, like
Yeah.
MRIs.
Right.
All this data gets fed into these really sophisticated algorithms.
Yeah.
And those algorithms are powered by AI and mathematical models.
So it's not just like one static image.
No.
It's dynamic.
Right.
It can change.
Exactly. And that's a key insight from the article. It's not just a snapshot. It can evolve
Right.
as new data comes in.
So it's learning.
In a way, yeah. It's becoming more accurate and more predictive over time.
Okay. So how does this help doctors?
Well, they can run simulations.
Whoa.
What if we try this treatment? What if we adjust the dosage?
Untrue.
What if we combine these therapies?
Hmm.
And the article points out that early results are really promising.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it seems like we're getting better at predicting which treatment strategies are going to work best.
So this sounds a lot like precision medicine,
Absolutely.
personalized healthcare.
Right. And digital twins are a huge part of that.
Okay.
For a long time, medicine was kind of a one-size-fits-all thing. You
Hmm.
get diagnosed, there's a standard treatment.
Yeah.
But precision medicine is all about tailoring treatment to the individual. And digital twins make that possible.
Yeah.
Instead of using data from big groups of people,
Mm-hmm.
we can model and predict outcomes based on your specific biology.
Wow. That's pretty mind-blowing.
It's a big shift.
It is.
And the article does a great job of explaining it.
Yeah, and it mentions that this whole digital twin concept isn't actually brand new.
Right. It's been around for a while.
Yeah, it's been used in aerospace engineering and car manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work?
It's fascinating, actually.
Okay.
So imagine a jet engine.
Yep.
The engineers have the blueprints, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they also have sensors that monitor the engine in real time,
Okay.
even in crazy weather.
Wow.
So they can predict when it needs maintenance or how it'll perform under stress.
Interesting.
The key here, and this is important for healthcare too,
Okay.
is that there's this two-way flow of information.
Yeah.
The real engine informs the digital model, And the model informs decisions about the real engine.
So we're seeing the same thing in healthcare, but instead of sensor readings,
Right.
we're using biological data
Exactly.
to inform the digital twin.
And the article emphasizes that this isn't just about cancer.
Right.
We're talking about heart problems, diabetes, all sorts of things.
Oh, wow.
Where personalized treatment is really important.
Yeah.
There's even an example in the article about Blackstone Inc.
Okay.
They use digital twins to manage the cost of weight loss drugs.
Oh, that's interesting.
By creating virtual models of people,
Yeah.
they could predict who would benefit most from the medication, and that led to a 50% reduction in costs.
Wow, that's huge.
So it's not just about health outcomes.
Right.
It can have a real economic impact, too.
And the article also talks about clinical trials.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Digital twins could really change how we develop new treatments.
Right. Imagine you're dealing with a rare disease.
Okay.
It's hard to find enough people for a traditional trial, but with digital twins, you could run simulations on virtual patients.
Interesting.
You could see how a new drug might work.
Wow.
Without needing a huge placebo group.
That would speed things up.
It would also cut costs.
Yeah.
And most importantly, get treatments to patients faster.
That's amazing.
And it allows for more diversity in the patient pool,
Right.
which is something we really need in clinical research.
Yeah, so this all sounds incredibly promising.
It does.
And the article even gives some projections about market growth.
Yeah.
It's supposed to jump from $1.6 billion today to over $20 billion by 2028.
That's a huge increase.
It is. It really shows how much momentum there is behind this technology.
Mm-hmm.
But there must be some challenges too, right?
There are, and the article gets into that as well.
Okay. What are some of the hurdles?
Well, unlike a jet engine,
Okay.
the human body doesn't have a single blueprint.
Right. It's more complicated.
Way more complicated.
Right.
So creating a truly accurate digital twin that captures all that complexity is a massive challenge.
Right.
We also have the issue of fragmented electronic health records.
Oh, yeah.
There's tons of data out there,
Mm-hmm.
but it's stored in all these different systems that don't communicate with each other.
So that lack of interconnectivity is a problem.
It's a big problem.
You can't build a good digital twin if you can't access all the information.
Exactly.
And then there's the computing power.
Right.
These models must require a ton of processing.
They do.
It can't be cheap to run them.
It's not cheap at all.
So who's going to pay for all this?
Well, the article talks about public-private partnerships,
Okay.
like the European Commission's program, that could help share the costs.
Yeah.
But we also need people with the right skills.
Right.
People who understand both biology and computing.
That's a unique combination.
It is, and China is actually way ahead of us on this.
Oh, interesting.
They've designated digital twins as a future industry,
Wow.
and they're training younger scientists in this field.
So what's the big takeaway here?
I think it's that digital twins are moving from science fiction to reality,
Yeah.
and they have the potential to revolutionize healthcare through precision medicine.
Right.
We're talking about personalized diagnosis treatment,
Yeah.
even clinical trials.
That's a whole new way of thinking about healthcare.
It is, and it's exciting.
It is, but there are challenges we need to address.
Right.
Like data access and infrastructure and the need for new skills.
And ethical considerations, too.
Oh, yeah. That's the best one.
We're talking about a lot of personal data here.
Right.
We need to make sure it's used responsibly.
So it's not just about the science.
No?
It's about the societal implications as well.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up here,
Okay.
I want to leave you with something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Given the potential for personalized virtual health
Yeah.
and the huge amount of data involved,
Right.
what do you think are the most important things we need to figure out now
Okay.
to make sure this technology is developed responsibly and that everyone has access to it?
Yeah. That's the key.
It's a big question,
It is.
but it's one we need to start thinking about now.
Definitely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been great.
Really appreciate your insights.
Happy to be here.